All right, guys, welcome back to another video, another daily news video. If you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and check out my Spotify. Link is in the description. So for the past week or so, we have been talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 dropping into Xbox Game Pass. And it's a pretty significant Xbox Game Pass release. It is a big game going into the service, but not only that, it is the first Activision game where we are hopefully going to now start seeing more Activision games dropping into Xbox Game Pass. Obviously, we know that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is coming over, but with MW3, it's just been rumors until now where it is official. Xbox officially announced it. Right now, you can go and play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 on Xbox Game Pass. They put out this tweet, plus many other tweets, but they're talking here saying, sounds good to us, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 drops July 24th. And why this is a good day for them to do this, and you're going to see a lot of people, I think, jumping in and playing it, is because Season 5 is releasing. So there's a bunch of new content coming in, like that WWE Super Smash game mode coming in where you have to do finishers on your opponents to actually score points in that game mode. It looks like a ton of fun. And then there's also like the cell shaded maps and stuff, which I'm definitely going to be trying out. I kind of like when they do those different styles of graphics. They had the big heads, the bit heads, or whatever they're called at the mid-season update for Season 4, which was a ton of fun. Every time you would get a kill, your head would get bigger, and then eventually it would get so big it would be easy to die in that game mode. But overall, it's a really fun first-person shooter, really fun multiplayer. I liked it better than the last couple of Call of Duties that have been out. It's been up there for me in terms of the fun factor that I've had with it. The campaign is a new take on it. It wasn't, I don't think, where they wanted it to be. It definitely can be improved. It's more of open world, but it just seems like there's a lot more they could have done with the open world campaign, or the semi-open world campaign, with more side objectives and stuff like that. But definitely worth checking out and trying, especially on Xbox Game Pass. So here is the official announcement. Now, the next question is, are there other games coming before the end of the month? We have heard that Dave the Diver is potentially dropping into Xbox Game Pass. And then we'll look forward to 2 days from now if Valorant is actually going to get the console release on PlayStation and on the Xbox Series X and S to see if those rumors do come true. But there it is, first Activision game. I'm excited to see what comes out going forward. I'm hoping, honestly, for some back catalog games. And then as the new Activision games do drop after Call of Duty Black Ops 6 in the future, that those also drop into Xbox Game Pass day one. Now, let's jump over here. Let's talk about a very, very cool thing. I love this type of stuff. I am absolutely going to be downloading this and playing it. But this is Halo, a brand new Halo, in a brand new form factor, and it is the Halo Combat Evolved D-Make that will be playable on the Game Boy Color. So this is a tweet that was put out, and you can see the actual D-Make of this game, the overhead view, but it's exactly like what Halo was, but with these old pixelated graphics. I actually really like these graphics. The Game Boys, I was a huge fan of them. I have the Analog Pocket right now, which I play a ton of, and I play Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy Color and Super Nintendo games on that thing. It's an awesome little handheld FPGA emulation device, and this is one of the coolest things that I've seen in a very long time. It says, yep, this is one of those cool retro style D-makes you see online every now and then. The console era these are based on does vary, but this Halo one is Game Boy Color themed, and here is the clip of it in action. They say, unfortunately, this isn't a full D-make just yet. Only the first 2 levels are playable, and it isn't on Xbox, but you can actually play it via your internet browser or grab the file for Game Boy Color or a modern retro console like the Analog Pocket, which is exactly what I am going to do. If you do have the Pocket, or if you have a handheld with a nice screen on it, I highly recommend doing that because it just looks so good in that form factor. So that is very cool, and I really hope that they continue to make more of these levels and they continue to add to it and eventually get the whole game, and maybe we see the whole Halo series with the D-Make, because I think it would be very, very fun to play through. And you can see here are some of the screenshots. I mean, I love this. I think this is one of the coolest things when they do this, and I would be all for seeing more of these D-Makes on these old retro devices where you get to experience them in a brand new way. So super cool there. Definitely go check that out if that's something that you are into. Now we have some pretty bad news, and again, it's not really a surprise based off the industry this year. It's been terrible across the industry with layoffs and closures and game cancellations, but this is a big one. I think Humble Games is pretty cool. They've done a lot of good stuff, and it looks like the entire team has been laid off. So Humble Games is a publisher under the Humble Bundle umbrella. They are owned by IGN, they say, and it was reportedly laid off its entire team. So the news of the Humble Games layoffs first came via social media post by senior QA Emily Kiefer saying, "Another year, another layoff. Today is mine and my entire team's last day at Humble Games." And Polygon senior reporter Nicole Carpenter added that 36 people have been let go in what appears to be a total closure of the company. So that's pretty insane. Humble is completely gone. They're getting rid of Humble Games. And again, this is owned by IGN. And this is kind of another fall of these major gaming journalist companies, major gaming journalist conglomerates. And they're having to kind of scale back on what they do. I feel like they're having less traffic and less people paying attention to them, especially with all of the other news sources out there, channels like myself, where I kind of aggregate a lot of the stuff going on and give it to you in a different format. And there's obviously many YouTube channels, many individual websites out there. I mean, Insider Gaming is one that just popped up in the last number of years, which has been very good. So it's going to be harder and harder for these big mainstream gaming journalist sites to keep everything running the way that they previously were. And of course, this is owned by IGN having to lay off this entire team. It's not a good day for them, and hopefully they all do end up on their feet. They say here, Insider Gaming has reached out to IGN Entertainment, which purchased Humble Bundle in 2017, and Ziff Davis for comment on the layoffs at Humble Bundle. And as of publishing, there has been no response. And of course, if there is a response, I will let you know exactly what that is. But this means in 2024 alone, there have been over 11,000 people that have been laid off in the gaming industry. And in 2023, there are roughly 10,500 layoffs. So I've already surpassed that, and we still have about half a year to go here, and I do not see it stopping. I think we will be seeing more layoffs as we do move forward. Now, let's talk about the digital versus physical side of things in gaming, because as we know, that is always a discussion. You guys know my stance on this if you have been watching the channel for a while. Although I definitely see the benefits of digital, and I own lots of digital games, I do really enjoy my physical editions. I like my collector's editions, and I like displaying stuff on the shelf. I also like it when games actually put the entire game on a disc, which, believe it or not, there are far more than I think a lot of people think. There's actually lists out there where you can see whether the full game was on the disc or whether you even need an online connection to play these games. There's actually quite a few depending on where you play. And Capcom is a company that does put out physical editions, and it looks like they are not going to be moving away from that anytime soon. And they say this is despite 90% of its sales now being digital. This was during a Q&A summary of its 45th Ordinary General Shareholders meeting. Capcom was asked about its outlook on the production of physical games, especially as the company sees a larger portion of sales being directed towards digital titles. And here is what they say. Given that a significant number of end users demand physical games, we do not expect to eliminate physical products. And that's great to hear, even though they say 90% of their games are sold digitally. I do kind of think, because Capcom is Japanese and the major companies or the major systems in Japan are the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation, there are more physical copies of those games for those consoles than there are for something, let's say Xbox. I think Xbox is far more digital, so they are definitely probably thinking about that. They're probably also thinking about the future of the Nintendo Switch 2 and how people are going to be consuming that way. Of course, there will still be more digital, but on Nintendo, it just feels like physical is more prominent than on other platforms, just with the collectors. I mean, we just saw the NES World Championships Collector's Edition come out, which I bought it. I put up a shorts if you want to go check it out. That thing is phenomenal. So maybe they're thinking about making sure that they still appeal to the people who want to buy the physical versions from the Nintendo Switch and for the PlayStation 5, which would mean that Xbox as well is going to get the physical versions of Capcom games going forward. They say, well, Capcom releases all of its major titles as both physical and digital releases. The company has released some smaller titles as digital only. This month, Kunitsugami Path of Goddess was released as a digital only title. That's also a game that was dropped into Xbox Game Pass day one. It's obviously not going to do crazy in sales or anything like that. It's a brand new title, more niche. But because maybe it was in Game Pass, they decided to save on the physical version of it. They say during the 2023 financial year, Capcom announced that 90% of its sales were digital titles, which forecasts will reach over 93% during the current financial year. So even with that, they are still willing to put out the physical versions of games. And I think that's good, because although a lot of people are fully digital now, they think it's convenient and it's great in this moment, we are going to see, I think, a fallout from that as more games to become delisted. Lots of issues with licenses, not being able to access games. We've already seen that with store closures and stuff. We're getting kind of foreshadowing as to where the future could be with game preservation, and with all digital, it does not seem that promising. So hopefully physical is still around for a little bit here, and Capcom is going to keep doing it. So let's jump over here. Let's talk about Red Art Games, because we've been hearing about layoffs and cyber attacks. Those have been two big negative things that have seemingly been consistent this year in the gaming industry. And there's another one here with Red Art Games. And this is a publisher based in France. They've published games like Have a Nice Death and Nuclear Blaze. And it seems like they have been hit with a major cyber attack. The company posted an official statement on Tuesday confirming the attack, and then confirming that the customer data was involved in the breach. They say in order to keep customers safe, the studio also took down their website for the time being. Specifically, this is the quote: "The Red Art Games website has just undergone a cyber attack and will be offline for some time until the situation is sorted out. Unfortunately, our customers' data has also been exposed during the attack. The people responsible may attempt to leverage the stolen data for fraudulent purposes." And they say Red Art Games says that people should be very vigilant if they get emails of any sorts of contact, people trying to get contact information and stuff claiming to be the studio. And they say, "We want to ensure you that the bank information is safe and that it has not been impacted by this cyber attack, and we highly advise you to change the password that was used for Red Art Games account." So just wanted to put this out here, let you guys know if you do have a Red Art Games account, if you have done any business with this company, just check your stuff, change your passwords, all of that, because your information could have been compromised. We have a Helldivers 2 major update that has been revealed before its August release. If you are playing Helldivers 2, here is what you can expect. It's titled Escalation of Freedom, and it is promising larger enemy outposts, new bots, returning bugs, fresh mission objectives, and a new difficulty level going up to combat rating 10. So it's coming out on August 6th, and then here are some of the details of what you can expect for this. So combat rating 10 says Super Helldive is our most challenging, most relentless dive difficulty level yet, and we hope that this is going to give players the intensity they're looking for on the battlefield. And with a great challenge comes great rewards, but a new difficulty level isn't the only thing the community wanted. They say, "We've also heard your desire for mission variation, which is why we're bringing you new mission objectives and bigger enemy outposts for both bots and bugs that offer brand new super sample rewards. These outposts will be heavily fortified and require players to coordinate and strategize in order to take them out. And if you're new to Helldivers 2, you don't have to worry about missing out on all the fun until you unlock Super Helldive, because many of our new missions objectives will be playable on other difficulty levels." So there it is. It's going to be the main thing here with the major update. We'll see if this brings more players back into the game. Now, Helldivers 2, I believe, is still relatively healthy in terms of player levels, but it did fall off from obviously the huge launch that it had. And I think most of the players for this game are on PC, and that just brings up a whole other discussion as to how important PC is for PlayStation going forward with their releases that are only on the PlayStation console. We're going to see what's going to happen with Concord. The thing here with Concord is that we've seen the beta numbers, and it does not look very good, even with it being supported here on PC. But that will be another one to track when it does come out. And finally, this is a pretty exciting thing for me as somebody who is a big fan of the NBA Street games. We haven't gotten a new one in a very long time. I would love to see just an official NBA Street game, but this will definitely be good while we wait for that to happen, hopefully. And this is a game that got announced called The Run, and it looks like it is a spiritual successor to NBA Street. And it says that there are various former EA developers that have worked on this game, including the former general manager Scott Probst and the Massive creative director Mike Young. So it's a 3v3 game, just like NBA Street, and there's like cool graphics here with the cell shaded, and it's just wild and over the top with how the game is played, but it looks pretty cool. It is going to be coming out for PS5, Xbox Series X, S, and the PC in 2025. And here's the description of the game. Introducing Run Got Next, a character-driven full-court 3v3 hoops game that celebrates the attitude, style, skills of streetball culture and brings your squad to some of the most legendary street courts around the world and see how long you can go on a run. And they also say that as the years have gone by, the gaming industry has grown exponentially, and in many cases, that business has taken precedence over the fun of a particular experience, and that sucks. And I think that's actually a great quote, because I would absolutely agree with that. As the gaming industry has grown, as it's gone in, I would say, more mainstream, you have a lot of developers out here that care far more about the way that the game looks and the story in the game and the overall experience, and they kind of neglect the gameplay and the actual fun factor of the game. And I'm a big fan of gameplay first, and the game has to be first and foremost fun before anything else. And that could even mean having worse graphics and stuff, and maybe not the best voice acting or the best actors within a video game. But if it's really fun to play, that kind of overshadows everything, in my opinion. It says here, I found this myself in many sports games today where I feel like I had to grind hundreds of hours to be good. I have to pay hundreds of dollars on top of the 70 I already spent for the game itself to have an okay time. And I have to go out on random quests to do things that don't really have anything to do with the fun of the game or the sports. That's kind of what you can expect from this. Just probably drop in, play, have fun, and just be able to get into some really cool gameplay right away. So I'm pretty excited for this coming out in 2025. But I'll end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.